She's pretty good. I'm jealous. Did you mess up? Yes. Yes, you did. She has a whole stack. Every single one, I think, are different, right? What? Almost every? Right? You should see all the rest. I'm trying to convince her to bring them all down. Messed up. No, I should be able to. Because all I'll have to do is add your name to that design and set it and forget it. Kind of. I'll still watch it though, don't worry. Get down. Ooh. You're welcome. I will be sending you a couple different fonts though for your name. I like the one, but it doesn't really go with you, but there's a couple other ones. Look, we're Maya? Correct me if I'm wrong. Hello, welcome on in. I hope all's well in your corner of the world. Enjoy the chaos, that's amazing. Wanted to ask about a particular stitch you're having issues with. Ask away, but wait until after the ad break. Let me type that out. I typed ad break. That was funny. Oh, I can show them? Okay, so. I know not. Wait, you connected some? Look at how pretty. Liz, I am proud of her. And there's a half one. Plain ones. How many plain ones you got? And then there's that one. Look at that. These are amazing. 10 out of 10, I approve.
Go home.
Thank you. I approve. Right? Right, Jody? She needs to teach me.
There's two rugs. Kids, they're all different. Ladder up rug.
I approve. Okay, Action, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. I hope you get some sleep and stuff. You do an I can do an invisible decrease, but having trouble identifying which loop I should hook into to continue on afterwards. Okay, I can help you here in a second. Let me do my increases. And then I'll grab a different hook and yarn. And I will show you. Poor baby girl, it's so hot in her room. I mean, I went outside with Mabel, and honestly, it felt like it was raining, but it's not raining. That is how humid it is. It's sick. Let me grab a different color and a larger hook, because larger hooks make it a little easier. Hold on, Jody, you're gonna laugh because I'm doing what I always do. I know where it is. I lost it. Just kidding. Bigger hooks are better. This is... I have used this. Also, I forgot, they redeemed a Eat Eat earlier. Caramel coconut. Joking, I'm not using this one. Okay, I'm grabbing a different yarn and bigger hook. This hook. I'm joking. Can you get me a different, like, lighter color yarn? Sensor's there. I'm gonna grab my K hook. So I'm using a 3.25 for this amigurumi. So I'm gonna show how to do it with a K hook. Maple, stop yelling at her. Of course, I tell her a lighter color. Who would have thought? I am a coconut. So is Maple. I've used it. With two... Excuse you. Is she stealing my yarn? Is that what it is? Maple. But yes, I made a giant octopus with that. Okay, awesome. Thank you for letting me know. 2 weight 7s and a weight 5 held together. And let me make my match. Oh my gosh. Acid Messiah TV. Hello, welcome on in. Thank you for the raid. I'm gonna let everybody dust themselves off. And all that good stuff. And then we'll do some introductions. And thank you for that follow, Way002. You can have the sticker. Double D Mo. Hello, welcome on in. Now everybody else coming in with Acid Messiah. Hello, welcome on in. I am Zakayla, Zach, Mama Zach. Call me dude, it's alright. You were playing IRL. Ooh, what were you IRLing? I know, it sounds funny whenever I say that. I am Zakayla, Zach, Mama Zach. Call me dude, it's alright. I will answer. Can you take her outside? She might poop for you. She won't do anything for you. I'm a variety crafter here on Twitch. Right, my puppy's barking. She doesn't know what she wants. I'm a variety crafter. Crafter. I do a large variety of mainly fiber arts. Yeah. How to use a sew? I approve. What were you trying to sew? I do sew. Not today. Thursday, I believe I'm gonna sew. I'm gonna make a purse. With Hocus Pocus fabric for Jody. I'm not sending it to Jody, just I let Jody pick, and she said Hocus Pocus. I'm not sure if that's what she actually wanted, but yeah. But that's exciting! All the hype! Heck yeah! So that's my plan for Thursday, possibly. I know on all socials I put to be determined or chat pick. But yeah. But yeah, I'm a variety crafter. I crochet, I knit, I sew, I quilt, I embroider both by hand and by machine, both sewing and embroidery. I do kind of cross stitch, among like all these other things. I learned how to spin. Yeah. Ooh, clothes for yourself? Heck yeah. Just remember, seam allowances are necessary. How am I? I am sweating, but it's alright. I'm making the best out of it. I'm doing good, though. I hope your stream went well. I did drop that follow for you. Everybody else, if you could, if you would like to, drop that follow. New crafter in the house. Heck yeah. Do you do any other kind of crafts? Just wondering. I'm excited for you, though. I ask a lot of stuff. Y'all never have to answer, but yet, y'all do. But we talk about a little of this and a little of that. We are PG-13-ish, because you gotta be 13 to be on Twitch. Okay, so I just did a quick increase round. And now, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do one there. And then I'm gonna do the invisible decrease, like you said you do. So you go in through the front loop, then in through the next front loop. Yarn, well, I yarn under, pull through, finish the stitch. For the next one, don't worry about the back side of that one. Go to the next stitch and go under both loops. So I'll do it once more. Sewing thing is new streamer, mostly cook and chat. Remodel a 200-year-old house, make some cool crafts here and there. Ooh. But what other crafts do you do then? You say you do... Yeah. So, front loop. Then front loop. Decrease. Maybe. Then get out of here. She's gonna just bark at you. Maybe she wants you to play. Woodworking and fiber arts? Heck yeah. So you can see where this one here is the front loop, so that's the back of the front loop. So you want to go to the next, if you look down, the next V. Right there. Yeah, she barks at baby girl all the time. So that's where you go. Otherwise, you're decreasing and then increasing if you go into the back loop. I think she can't tell if it's cooler outside or not. It's in the air. I have used this. You're welcome. Alley Cat, hello! Welcome on in. I hope all's well in your corner of the world. Yeah, good chance of it. You would not be the first one to do that. And it's very tempting to see the back loop and be like, okay, that's where I go. Okay, that one looks wonky there. We'll fix it, though. But I'm always willing to at least try helping with anything I can do. Oh, I gotta fill up her water. I'll just pour from my bottle, it's cold. Oh, thank you for that follow, Bookworm Maya. I appreciate it. If you are newer here, I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I start about 5 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, I start at 1 p.m. Always makers and crafting, except the very rare occasion that maybe a game. Not too often. I do owe a gaming stream. Yeah, this is about it. Can't wait till the phone is off. And she has bigger water. My puppy's food and water are over here too. Oh, she heard me. I got you food and water, honey. I think you was thirsty. I put water down for you. She's a mini Bernie Doodle. She's amazing. Oh, she wanted more food. That's what she wanted. Well, she could have told me. Not poor baby girl. One more round and then on to something else. I turned the fan on for you. Not sure I like the snout. For gaming mostly, only recently started looking into the crafting side of Twitch. Welcome to the best category on Twitch, which is technically creative, because it also includes art. So art and makers and crafting. I'm a little biased because I almost always just hang out in creatives. The safe side of Twitch for the most part. If you need me to, I can point out a couple other amazing people. Art, makers of crafting, and food. Yes. Without a doubt. You know, what was it? Like, not last year, the year before in 2022 is when Twitch wanted to take away makers and crafting and art again. Do you remember that, Liz? Because we're a small group. What are you doing? Sure. Oh, what are you doing? She just realized you were here. Did you blend in? Okay. Sorry. Right? We rioted 3 people. At least, no, more than 3 if you think about it. Pix, 9, Science, Zach Rutledge, Astro Canuck, all within, what, 6 months? 5 people? Right? Maybe if they let us be seen just a little more. Kim for the day? No, Kim's pushing. Kim for the day is getting there, I predict. So I know Liz knows, but I predict in December who I think is gonna get partnered or close to it the following year. Because I'm full of chaos. And I predict things. Yeah, Kim is pushing. She's... I hope she gets it. Sleeping Luna Designs is also pushing for partner. And I believe in both of them. Hells Bells is not pushing for partner, but I think that she's getting. Beaker Sue into learning crochet helps you to see others and... Ooh, yes, always feel free to ask me. Even if I'm not specifically crocheting, feel free to ask me. Oh, totally. Totally. Refill. Oh gosh, I just broke it. It'll be fine. Oh, totally. Always a great thing to have others around. And I'm always willing to help. Right, Fickle? Right? Turtle. This, I mean, you're not wrong, Mint. The amount of chaotic streamers that hang out in Makers and Crafting is beyond me. I have no idea why I'm in Makers and Crafting. I don't know if I belong here at this point. There's nothing chaotic about me. I just break other streamers' computers without meaning to. As I'm a guest. Only happened once. Zach is crafting and chaos. Kim is chaos and a smidge of craft. That is... I don't think there's ever been a truer statement there, Fickle. I don't think so. Like, the other day when I just sat here laughing for like a good 3 minutes because Jody timed Liz out at the perfect timing. It was great. Liz didn't do anything bad, aka Sleeping Luna Designs. We just have the channel point redemption, and it can get a little bit chaotic here. Also, you know that I'm sewing embroidery thread when I'm actually tying a knot. Okay, his mouth is a little derpy, but that's alright, it's allowed. Sorry. Minus the back stitching. Time for bed. Jody's going to bed early. I hope you sleep. Was it last night you didn't sleep good? I hope you get good sleep. And I love your face. And I'll probably message you tomorrow during the day or something. I don't know. Nothing exciting's happening at work. So the fan goes on. Good idea. Hold on. Okay, it does go between the eyes. Looks. No, don't do it. It's a trap. Throne.com/Jody is here. What? Okay, there we go. Good job, Isabella. I also gave Maple all my water. Oops. That's on me, my bad. I'll go fill it up here in a minute. Not sure exactly where to put the tail. It's back, I know that. Maple? I'm not gonna go stand out there. Too hot for that. Like, seriously, it's just too hot everywhere. For everything. Okay, so we got the tail, the nose. What's next? The arms? Oh, I'm right. The arms are next. And then the spikes. So far, he's looking awful cute with a bunch of pokies sticking out of him. Promise, not a voodoo doll. Promise. Do it. What are you in a holic? 3 streaks through stream. How's it going? I hope all's well in your corner of the world. I don't know what's up with Maple right now, but keep barking at one of the kids. I don't know why she keeps barking at baby girl specifically. Except that baby girl doesn't do much with her. I hate when it's, ooh, let's slip stitch, because I don't like slip stitches. Hurts my head. It's fine. Doing good. Trying to hustle on to crochet Lilith crop top. Whoa. Do we have a picture of it? Have I asked for that before? Because, I mean, I feel like I have, and I feel like you've shared it, but, well, it's also me. Okay, then I've seen it. But thank you. Get close to the finish line? Heck yeah, I can't wait to see yours. It'll be amazing. Are you excited? I feel like you should be. I can't wait to see it though. I really can't. I love seeing other people's. I haven't learned the slip stitch yet. Is it worse than the magic circle or not that bad? It's not that bad because if you know how to single crochet, right, you put your hook in, you yarn over, you pull your hook out. Instead of yarning over, you just pull that through the first loop on. And that's just a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and then pull through. And it's not that bad. I just hate it with tiny hooks. And I almost always use tiny hooks. It's me. I'm the problem on that one. Actually, this one's a little bigger than I normally use. I normally use a 2.75. Like I said. But insert in, yarn over, pull through both. I think these are actually shorter arms than on the pair. And I'm currently trying not to laugh. Start with a 3 hook after using 5.5 to learn basic stitches. Yeah. What kind of yarn are you using? If you don't mind me asking. I do not yarn shame. I use a lot of acrylic yarn. Specifically a lot of Red Heart Super Saver. Yeah. So there is no yarn shaming allowed in my chat. We all know that. Thank you. I gotta see. Oh wait, these are feet. But his feet are still longer. His feet are longer than the T-Rex's. Ooh, I like that idea, Liz. We can always yarn praise. Mint, did you see? I did it again. I did it. It's beautiful. And the Hank looks a lot better than the original one. It came up on my watch. I didn't get the whole message, just the first part. Cheapest in the store, probably acrylic. Let me grab... Y'all, it says grass green. We're using slime.